how much we're capable of loving and forgiving and moving on. But, you know, this whole piece that you are growing, I find it very divinely guided, divinely.
Me too.
You know, it's something that will live on and is a legacy or your work because this is your gift that you're giving all of us here. I guess to really get into the next piece here in regard to moving on and releasing and surrendering and your garden, do you find that when you're in your garden and you're moving among the flowers and the plants, do you feel the essence of God, of spirit more? Do you feel, because I find nature as a very validating force of resonance and spirit for me, the natural order of life and the beauty of nature and the call of nature, the feel of it, and the whispers, you know. Do you find that a bit of your prayer?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And that's one thing that when you go out in your garden, something simple as just watering your plant, you know, sitting there with a hose in your hand and just watering the plant and knowing you're giving it nourishment and knowing that it will give back to you, you know, and the flowers or even the oxygen that it creates. And that's one thing that, Lisa, I'll say with this is that when you're going through what I'm going through, you enjoy every little moment like that. You know, before you may, you know, just kind of, I got to water the plant or I got to do this or whatever, and you move on. But
right.
Just walking out and breathing the fresh air, you know, that's oxygen that's coming from the plants, and as they grow and you watch it, and it's just the most serene, and it's you see God in everything, in every little pebble, in every little, like you say, butterfly that goes by, or a bee, or you watch it as it takes its nectar. You watch all of that very, very closely, and you enjoy every moment, even every little movement of that little bee's, you know, toes or whatever they call it, you know, getting the nectar. You just enjoy all of that, and you soak it in, and you realize the beauty and the love of God just through every part of the growth of the plants and the garden. It's God everywhere. You know, it's just honestly, I appreciate it so much more now than I ever did, and I hope that people can learn to appreciate it before they're in my shoes.
Right. No, I found that very powerful in following your online community, is the inspiration that the garden provides, because it's got a, you know, metaphorical piece, but it's also got this very real, living, loving godliness in it. And you know, it's and I know I've used that word. I really don't use that word often, godliness, but with you, I've been using it quite often today, Jack, because I find a lot of your inspirations, and I find a lot of where you are moved to share yourself is from a place of godliness, and it's from a place of soul that, you know, it's additional love that, you know, we all talk about. You know, you hear, you see it all over, you know, social media, unconditional love, but it's a real hard concept to attain, and it's real when you drop into the reality that you're talking about. You know, when you're talking about being present, when you're talking about being aware of every moment and appreciative of every gift. And it is a dropping in. It is a quieting. It is a shutting down the noise, you know? I, too, started, you know, my search out of near-death experiences when I started to read. It was my mother's book of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and Raymond Moody. Yeah. And I started reading it. I was in first grade, and I did a book report, and the teacher, like, probably, you know, she had a conference with my mother, and I think she thought I was a little touched, but we'll go with that. So, there was definitely this intrigue for me as well from a very early age with life and death, and not death in the morbidly scary, the body goes into the ground, but in the way that the spirit lives on. I just had this knowing as a child that there's something beyond our physicality that lives, and it has to come from our love. It absolutely has to come from our ability to feel and love, because that's what makes us us. You know, it really does. We can compute all we want, but when we emote, things change, you know? And,
exactly.
And you're emoting, Jack. You are emoting all over the place, man.
well, you know what, Lisa, when you say that, is that about godliness, is that I have never felt this alive in the love of God ever. The relationship that I have built with God the last 6 months is amazing. You know, I've seen God in a different way I've never seen before and felt, and miracles. I feel like I'm a walking miracle, because I'm still being able to, because talking about hospice worker the other day, there's no way I should be having my quality of life I'm having right now. I'm having a huge quality of life right now, and I attribute that to that my faith in God and the relationship that I have with Him now is like, oh my gosh, you know, so it's keeping me alive, but I'm with you. It's just, oh my gosh. It's just so much different. And, I'm truly, truly blessed. There's no doubt.
You are so blessed, and we are so blessed by you, Jack. What you are doing, what you have done, what you've created, you've allowed and given permission to others to follow suit in regard to talking about their challenges and their struggles and their fears and their anxieties in regard to life and death. And again, like I said, it's not a subject that is common to talk about or even to feel through, because, you know, if we're honest, it's, you know, if we go into like, you know, a fearful concept of it, sure, it elicits a lot of fear. And if we go into an expanded concept of it, death is just another passage. It's really something that we still have an energetic feel to that individual. There's still some connection there if we're allowed to dabble with it or tap into it. I know I get messages randomly, and I don't doubt them, from both my parents. And I know emphatically they're coming through with something, or they'll come in through a dream, and it'll be like one of those lucid dreams, and it is, there's no denying it. And it will either manifest, transpire, or be very good insight or advice to take heed of.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You know, I mean, I absolutely know the veil is very thin. So, you know, in the comfort and love for your loved ones and for your beloved wife, you know, and as you said, she's moving in her own growth and spiritual journey, and I'm sure that this is, you know, such a mixed emotion for her in so many ways, because it's beautiful to watch you embrace this, but, you know, the reality is the reality. And so she's, you know, in processing that, I'm sure she's going through a lot of growth and a lot of emotions. But, you know, you're giving her a lot of gifts in moving on. You're giving her a lot of beauty in finding her truth in her heart, in finding this community, in having new friends, you know, in having people who are going to care and love for her, you know. It's a beautiful gift that you're offering her. And it's something that, you know, and also in your connection, it's allowing her to trust in having a connection even in your passing. And that's a beautiful gift. If, you know, if and when, whenever that happens. I mean, you know, you are already defying the odds, so, you know, who knows?
I know, huh? Yep. No,
and none of us know, you know?
No, that's right. That's right. Matter of fact, her, actually, I was diagnosed in September. Her brother lives in India, fine, and in November, he died of a heart attack. Boom, dead, you know, and that was a shock, right? So here's to deal with this, and her brother is healthy. He called up, heart attack. So you're right. You never know.
So sorry.
You know.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I
So
know.
you just never know. Go ahead.
No, you never know, and that's all the more important to really know self, know needs, know wants, and get those needs and wants met, folks, because, you know, life is a blessing to all of us, and we all deserve our joys. And with people like Jack O'Ryan living and showing us how to live abundantly and fiercely and with such a generous heart and spirit, it's so encouraging to really jump on life, you know, jump on life instead of allowing life to just exist. Is there anything you'd like to say? Take that happiness and protect that happiness with all you have, and protect that joy, you know, and don't allow the fear of death to take away any moment of joy, because, you know, like you said, it's life-giving and it gives life to others. So my thing is to never allow one moment to be snatched from you for a fear of something that is going to happen anyway, you know. So just enjoy the day, enjoy the moment, you know. Go ahead. And you are so, and you're not just saying that, you know. A lot of people say that, but you say that, you do that, you exhibit that. We feel that from you, you know. And I think that's truly the message, because there's a lot of rhetoric out there. There's a lot of things that are regurgitated and resaid, and sure, they're great. They're great statements. But when statements are said with such honesty and truthfulness and heart, like you're offering us, changes us. You know, Jack, it really does. It changes me.
Beautiful.
Because
I
really feel you. I really feel who you are and the value of what you're offering all of us in this gift. And it's not empty words, you know.
Yeah.
It's powerful. Anything you would like to talk about or say before we end our show? Again, that's my mantra is that don't allow anything to take away your joy ever. You know, just don't, because again, because like you're afraid of death, and that's fine. We're all going to face that, but to have it take away, because life is a rocky boat anyway, right? With what's going on in politics or whatever. So to have something else to try to take away our joy, to me, it's sad, right? Because we need to protect it, and that's my thing, is that don't allow anything, even including a death or an illness or whatever. Go through the process. Yes, you have to go through the process of grief or whatever, but work through that, and then don't allow anything to take away your joy, and then give it away, right? And that's the thing, is this community, that's what's so beautiful about it, is that there is such a give and take, is that there is love, unconditional love that's just given and taken and given and taken, and people are growing from it and learning from it, and it's just, like you said, and then that's what's so beautiful, is that this will live on through the people that are going through my my Facebook group. They're taking it on, they're taking it on, right.
They're moving forward, they're touching lives, and that's what thrills me more than anything else, is I think that by their testimonies, lives are being touched. And that's all I've ever wanted to do, Lisa.
Oh, Jack, and look at how well you're doing it. And by the grace of God, you are succeeding in such an incredibly beautiful way. That's one thing that I really find is so incredibly inspiring, is that this group isn't just, it may have been created and inspired in some part because of your situation, but the generosity from you in this group is that it's empowering, encouraging, and inspiring everyone who is in whatever stage of acceptance of grief, death, whether it's themselves, whether it's a loved one, whether it's someone who's passed, whether it's someone who is terminal or going through a terminal disease currently. You've got everybody on there in various stages of support in various stages of receiving inspiration, in needing